In section 28, we're going to actually do a couple of classifications, so let's not waste time and get right at it. As we can see, the tools provided by the ITC, the International Trade Commission, search tools, and the HTSUS itself really do facilitate the progression of classifying goods from the general to the specific. Once importers and/or brokers progress from a search tool to the appropriate section and chapter, that's where the classification process truly begins to become granular, getting from a heading to a subheading, 8-digit legal classification, 10-digit statistical classification. We've said this a couple times. We'll wrap up this slide with a trade tip. The study of section and chapter notes is also an important part of the classification process. Women's blue denim jeans, which by definition are made out of cotton. This should be familiar because, as we noted previously, this is the same example we used when we did our landed cost calculation. First bullet, way back during our module on sourcing, we conducted a landed cost analysis using women's blue denim jeans as an example. We are now going to return to that exercise and focus on how the jeans were classified under HTS number 6204, 628011. As a note, for purposes of this exercise, we will assume that we used both the HTS search tool and the sections listing in the HTSUS to determine that women's blue denim jeans fall under Chapter 62. We actually showed how that worked in a previous section, so we should be good there. The details from our original analysis and the sourcing module are the same. HTS number, we gave that during that landed cost analysis. It's not a mystery. 6204.62.8011. Let's remind ourselves that the unit cost was $15 each per pair. The duty rate is 16.6%. Our job is to find out how we got to that 16.6%. Country of origin, China. Entered value, $252,000. As we just said, we'll say it again in our note, our goal in this section is to validate how we arrived at the above-mentioned HTS number. Let's start at Chapter 62. We already said, based on our previous analysis, that we know it's Chapter 62. We always want to start with the notes, just to make double sure. In our notes, this chapter applies only to made-up articles of any textile fabric other than wadding, excluding knitted or crocheted articles. Should be fine there. Number 2, this chapter does not cover worn clothing or other worn articles of heading 6309. Take our word for it, that doesn't apply. And of course, we're not talking about orthopedic appliances, surgical belts, trusses, or the like. We want to check our chapter notes. We're good. This slide actually shows 2 excerpts. It's off pretty much the same page, certainly within the same classification from a heading all the way down to a legal classification. We had to break it up in 2 parts here. We'll zoom in on each of them, but we had to break it up because it was just too big to fit on the page, even with the zoom feature. We're going to start on the left-hand side, zoom in there. We're looking at our heading 6204. Women's or girls' suits, ensembles, suit jackets. Sounds like we're getting warm. Blazers, dresses, skirts, divided skirts, trousers. Kind of an old-fashioned word, but that's where we're stopping because trousers and jeans, pretty much the same thing. Run through the rest of it. Bib and brace overalls, breeches. There's a really old-fashioned word. And shorts. Below that, indented. Trousers, bib, and brace overalls, breeches, and shorts. As the prose is indented, so continues the headings and subheadings. Look at 6204.62 of cotton. Now we're really in the right ballpark. We have 6 numbers. We need to progress down, however. Other, 6204.6280. That's our legal classification at other. But we're not finished yet because we need the statistical. We know we're in the right neighborhood at 6204.62 because we've identified trousers. We have of cotton. We're at 6. If we move down because we're at 6204.62 of cotton. But if we progress down 6204.62.70, that's talking about certified hand-loomed and folklore products. That's not us. We need to progress down even further and get to 6204.6280 other. That's where we are. We progress across to the rates of duty. We see there's that 16.6%. Why 16.6%? Because China has normal trade relations with the United States, so it goes in the general column. If we as importers had sourced this product in other countries, Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Israel, it would be duty-free. This particular product came out of China, so the duty is 16.6. There's that point we always like to make when we talk about sourcing. The country matters. The country of origin matters. In our case, it's 16.6 because it came out of China. We have our 8-digit legal classification, but as we zoom out and come back in on the lower right, we can get all the way down to 6204.628011 blue denim. We have trousers at the heading level 6204, of cotton at 6204.62, other at 6204.6280, and then to be statistically correct, with that additional 2 digits to make it 10 entirely, blue denim. There's our classification, 16.6% coming out of China, which has normal trade relations with the United States. Let's look at another classification example using multiple reasonable care tools. In this example, we're going to use the previously studied commercial invoice that detailed the purchase of a numerically controlled lathe from a vendor in Portugal. Surely we remember that example. We're going to break out that invoice again. For purposes of this exercise, we'll use the product description in the invoice to guide the process. Naturally, the objective is to use the commercial invoice along with reasonable care classification tools to arrive at the proper classification. Here is the exact same invoice. We studied it pretty extensively. We're not going to go through the whole thing again. In fact, we're going to look at a couple of things here. Right in the middle, product description, numerically controlled lathe. Pretty decent, succinct, but decent product description. And also the country of origin, which is Portugal, which also has normal trade relations with the United States. So our duty rate is going to be in that general column. Let's go through some of these reasonable care tools. We should recognize this. It's the HTS search tool in search mode, not view, as we saw before, but in search mode. And we actually typed in lathes. As a quick impromptu trade tip, the way the search tool works in the Harmonized Tariff Schedule search tool isn't necessarily exact. It can get pretty general. And what shows up when we type in lathe and press enter is actually on the left-hand side. Some crazy things can pop up, completely unrelated to our product, so we have to be careful with that. This one definitely zeroes in on our lathe because we see a heading that pops up of 8458. That's shown on the left-hand side, actually 8458.1100. Lathes. So we're in pretty good shape. 8458.11.00 numerically controlled lathes. We have an 8-digit legal classification of numerically controlled lathes. We can see the rates of duty in this slide. We already said that Portugal has normal trade relations with the U.S., so it's going to fall under the general column, 4.4%. Once again, if we go to the right, and the same product had been sourced in a GSP country, that's the letter A, Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Chile, Colombia, on and on, it would be duty-free. This product, clearly stated on the invoice, came out of Portugal. It's 4.4%. We can also go into view mode, go to chapter 84, go to heading 8458, and this is what we're going to see. In the heading 8458, lathes, including turning centers for removing metal. 8458.11.00, numerically controlled. That's an 8-digit Legal classification, we see that 4.4%. Clearly, we're going to have to continue down to get our statistical classification. But again, it's a rather large page, so we just included this part. This is the right classification. This is the legal classification at 8458.11.00. 4.4% coming out of Portugal. Okay, that's it for this section. Couple of classifications there. We're going to do another one in the upcoming section, but we wanted to end this particular section with 2 classifications. Come back as soon as you can. We'll do another one.